very well. We're getting the bad, hard criminals out. These are murderers. These are people that have been as bad as you get, as bad as anybody you've seen. We're taking them out first. Thank you.
President Trump sending a strong and clear message as ICE begins their deportation flights. The White House releasing these striking images showing some of the country's most dangerous criminal migrants boarding a one-way flight out of our country. It's a sharp contrast to the days of Joe Biden's shameful midnight flights that flew illegals in under the cover of darkness. And that's not all. We're also getting brand new video that shows military helicopters and Marines at the southern border helping agents there with security operations. And check out this incredible moment, deported illegals arriving back in Mexico and warning others with this message.
Hay mucha migra y todos están cayendo. No les recomiendo cruzar porque hay un chingo de...
Aha, everyone's getting caught, as well it should be. You know, what's interesting, Harold, is that Governor Healy in Massachusetts, a Democrat, she was going to use every tool in her arsenal to fight back against Trump, but she made an about face. Why do you think that is, and will others follow?
I think she made an about face. I don't know all that she said, but I did see some of those things, and she is now in full support of these things. I think people realize that when you're able to make your streets safer and you are able to reduce the cost of taking care of people whom many in your community don't want in your community, I think that's a positive thing. I think you'll find more and more electeds, and I think your question really is focused on Democrats, and particularly those who may have said that their cities or states would be more sanctuary-like. I think they're going to hear from voters. You've seen even in Chicago where a big core of the voting population there and a lot of big constituency groups there, including a lot of African Americans, are saying we can't afford this. Why is this happening? Now, this group here at the president's second out, these are what Tom Homan said are the worst of the people here. I'm a believer. Our country's has been built over the years on accepting people who want to come and play by the rules and want to come and live the great American dream. But when you come and commit crimes and the kind of heinous crimes and violent crimes people are committing, there's no question the president will continue to enjoy support for this. And as I said yesterday, this is how you keep that coalition together that elected you, Mr. President, back in 2024. It could get a little dicier as things goes on, but people are going to continue to support this. You know,
Shannon, Harold said when the Democrats realize that it's making the streets safer, as if they couldn't figure that out before. You know what I think it is, Shannon? I think it's a recognition that they're going to be charged with obstruction, with interfering, and they don't want to be taken out in cuffs, okay? They cannot stop it. But this Mayor Johnson is already in Chicago, Brandon Johnson's already spent $500 million in Chicago. And he's got a campaign starting to know your rights. He said he wants to protect people. Do you want to protect Americans or illegals?
Well, and that's the question. There are the optics now that Democrats have to contend with as well, because Chicago is one of the places where some federal officials have said, we want to go in the jails and get the bad guys and take them out of here, but we can't go into the jails. So I don't know what the argument is there for protecting bad guys. I'm not sure what that argument is, but that's a hard one for Democrats to make. So if Tom Homan and others are going out there saying, we're going after people convicted of all kinds of things like rape and assault and attempted murder and that kind of stuff, you can't stand there as a Governor Healy or anyone else to say, like, we're going to keep up these efforts. And as you mentioned, this executive order says two things. We can either come after you civilly or criminally if you impede this federal operation, or the president has ordered these agencies to look at cutting off federal funding to these places as well.
All right, Greg. Shannon just mentioned, you know, we can go into the jails. Should these illegals who are here and charged with crime, should they be convicted and spend time in the United States, or should they be automatically deported and put on a C-130?
It depends on the crime. If they're, you know, like pedophiles, murderers, we deport them, but we deport them before we land the plane.
Drop them, you're saying.
Drop them is what I'm saying. It is interesting, though, that foreign pedophiles are treated better than American pedophiles. It's like you have these city leaders like trying to muck up the works so you can't arrest these guys. Why are they different? Would you treat our criminals the same way? They actually captured, and I believe they're deporting some sexual abusers of children. And I'm wondering where AOC is in this. You know, shouldn't the children that these abusers have been traveling with, how dare you separate them? Shouldn't they be together? Isn't that what she was talking about? Of course, she's not going to say that because the separation policy is designed for that, to keep the guys that are raping kids or trying to sell kids from pretending to being their guardian. Again, this is free money for Trump. He's not creating new laws. He's simply enforcing the existing laws. And everybody's looking at it going, whoa, so we can do this? I had no idea. This is what happens when you get rid of the hoaxes. That when you get rid of the hoaxes, you get rid of these pushers of hoaxes in the media, now you see that there's nothing to fear when you follow the law. Nobody's turning into Hitler. There are no concentration camps. It was all a lie.
Yes, indeed. Now, you know, these illegals, Jesse, have been able to and have literally been exempted from United States laws. And the question now is, I mean, do you, and I'm just curious as to what the thinking is, should they spend jail time here or just deport them?
Well, on the one hand, it's expensive to imprison these people.
Right.
But if you deport them and they sneak back in, that's another issue.
Yep.
So I'm with Greg. It depends on what the crime is. If it's a hardcore crime, I say we imprison them here. But if it's just a small misdemeanor, send them back and you take the risk. Remember the talking point about not all migrants are criminals. So what? and look at all of these criminals going home. And all it did, it took a show of force. Just the visual of having these C-130s out hovering over the border. Do you know how scared people are now? They used to average thousands of border apprehensions per day. After Trump came in, a couple hundred. No one's even making the trek anymore. It looks to me like Johnson in Chicago wants to get arrested. It looks like he wants to be a martyr, and he wants to now be known for defending criminal illegal aliens. If he does that and the media starts supporting Johnson and makes him this big anti-Trump resistance hero, that is going to send the Democratic Party so far back in time. And the more and more you realize about how long these killers and rapists languished in our cities, 17 arrests, this feisty Haitian illegal the other day.
Feisty.
When you swear in,
he's been here since 2013.
As a president, you swear to protect against enemies foreign and domestic. And he's letting foreign enemies prey on Americans for years. And they obviously knew where he was because on the first week they had his address and picked him up. This just makes Joe Biden look like such a traitor.
Well, yeah, no question. And he's thanking Joe Biden and Barack Obama. Thanks, bro. Thanks, Joe.
You didn't ask me the question. I think you should send them back. These people have already been convicted, and they're still out because our laws need to be changed.
Well, some of them haven't been convicted yet. In other words, we haven't had the ability to try them because they're being protected in the sanctuary. So that's part of the problem.
Right, I think they should be sent back.
Okay, send them back on that C-130 and airdrop them.
And bill them for the flight.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.